Darkness fills your life and pain supreme. When evil forces have deformed your dream, it's time to open up your heart to let the light shine through. No matter how you look at it, you'll always know it's true.
GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's all we're easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best.
People by your side forsaking you, and you cry because you don't know what to do. It's time to open up your heart to let the light shine through. No matter how you look at it, you'll always know it's true.
GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's all we're easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best.
It's time to open up, to let your heart decide what's true.
GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's all we're easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best. GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's all we recently surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best.
So fast we deliver to the future land. For the growing world of tomorrow we strive. Passing through the matrix of data, driving you into cyberdive. Even when you're lost in darkness, you must believe in tomorrow, it will come. Just like angels with burning hearts will face the risk of our lives. God of night, I cheer to embrace the magic. Visions displayed on the monitors. Can you see the moon and the stars and the sun? Could they be feel like you've just lost your way. Oh, we're always watching over you. Dreams are kept in a secret place. Cradles rocking with love. Sometimes a piece of our dreams have fallen off. Together we can make everything right. Just like angels with burning hearts, we'll face the risk of our lives. Side of night, I cheer to embrace the magic melody from the distance. Can you hear it? Like the song of an angel with a tear in her eye, with an affection for her guardian. Side of night, I cheer to embrace the magic, starting an adventure for our future. We are all hoping for setting out to lead us to the new universe, shining through the starry night. We'll always stay by your side. Nights under a soft moonlight, fly high with grace and pride. We're gonna make it right. For this dream of ours we must try. Keep this hope of ours alive. Just do it, just Burning Rangers.
Drive.
There's no sound because we're muted. That's why. Mystery solved. Mystery solved. Yeah, I'm sorry about cutting off the sax solo, everybody. It was rude, but it had to be done. Okay, here's me. This is what I sound like.
Yeah, can they hear me?
They should be able to hear you. Sean.
Hi.
What do you want the theme for the first Pokemon TCG Pocket expansion to be?
Oh, well, I mean, I assume it will be Team Rocket since Mewtwo was so prominently featured early on, and that's what his immersive rare is. So I think that would be cool, but I'd like some crossover too, since they're bringing back Owner's Pokemon. Remember that from back in the day, like Blaine's, Ninetales,
Yeah.
Misty, Staryu. I think if that was in TCG Pocket, that would be cool as well.
I first remember that, I think, from that Team Rocket set, because it was Team Rocket's Meowth. I remember at the time I got mad. I was like, we already have our Meowth card, because it was like one of the first times they did that. I got over that quick.
Mhm.
I boosted Sean a bit, everybody. How's that sound? Let me know.
I am talking. Am I going to be boosted enough to where the people would like it? Question.
How
mark.
boosted is that? What's this calendar invite? Oh, voice about dump truck. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Sean needs more. Okay. I can give you a little bit more on my end. Still off. I'd like Sean. All right.
They're out to throw a little bit more too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. What?
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. and I've been very busy, so sorry if I'm a little
It's fine.
lower on the volume.
That's yummy. Okay, Christian, you want to say something?
I'm saying something right here, right now, at this very moment. I'm speaking out loud, and I won't stop speaking until somebody tell me, please.
All right.
I'm encased in this jail of speaking.
We did it.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh,
great.
God. Thank you.
All right. So that's good. Christian's good. All right. I forgot to get the music ready to go here. 1 second. That probably made Christian disappear. Podcast
Made me disappear.
songs. You guys aren't going to hear the intro, but I will. And that's fine.
Right.
At least be-
That's fine. Just give me a countdown so I time it out with my own audio.
Chat, you should probably have heard that, though.
Let's get this over with.
Be a little
Somebody
soft,
said, please mute Christian. Thank you.
but
Appreciate
just
that.
All right.
Indeed.
Assume they heard that.
All right.
So they'll be ready when I actually start this thing. Yum.
They are saying yum. So
Yep. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. Well, no, they're doing Christmas stuff, so they might not be doing Happily Ever After. It might be a Christmas fireworks. All right. Then I think we are able to get started. I'll do a countdown, and I'll just... Oh, wait, let me move. I got to move all my stuff over to this monitor, because when I open it up here, they do not see Christian or Sean anymore. Okay. We're good.
wow. keep confused. It's like an old parent keep confusing the names of their sons.
I know. Oh,
All right.
my mom was like so classic with that. It was incredible. She would
My
call
dad
me
does that too.
she would call me the dog before she would get to my name.
You all have such different names too. That's
I
wild.
know. Yeah. She would just kind of run down the roster before she could get to us. Okay, we'll get started then.
All right, ready.
And 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Sean McDowell, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, how did Nintendo do at the TGAs? Oh, new song on Nintendo Music. And we don't need no Jeff Grubb. He can stay in Disney World. It'll be fine. I'll see him plenty. But first off, Sean, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, this is going to be a fun one, Mike. I like when we get to podcast together. Whenever I get to podcast with you or Jeff, we have different ways of me rambling on with each of you guys. Me and Jeff get into the tech stuff. Me and you get into like the ultra nerdy RPG and weeby stuff. So like, it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to this one. I think a little light on the news today, so maybe we dive extra deep into the mailbag too. Should be a good time.
Yeah. Nintendo's being pretty quiet right now, which I don't think is a shock. They don't have a December game, right? We're good until Donkey Kong now. Right now that Brothership is out. That's correct.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to look up what they have upcoming, and yeah, the next one I see is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yeah. So, this will be a nice break for you. Anyway.
I keep forgetting that they announced Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, that's neat. That's a good filler one, because that's next. That's later next year after Donkey Kong. So that's a good one to have. I'll be happy for that. But yeah, this is a nice break for you in between sessions of Days Sean, which has been fun over on GiantBomb.com, right?
An interesting time, yeah. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's a very fine video game. Like in terms of gameplay, it's no Blight Club. That's for damn sure. Just a very average, very like, as you said, like archetypal PS4 game with the open world and the zombies and everything. So I don't know. I like that I'm giving it a fair shot, and then I have you and Nikki there with me to have a good time, just shooting the shit and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what reviewers were saying at the time for that game. I don't think too many people thought it was some terrible game, but it was just very familiar of a lot of things.
Yeah, some of the storytelling and stuff is going to be grating to some people, including me. And yeah, that's kind of just where we take issue.
But so yeah, we are going to kind of use this excuse to talk about the Game Award nominees that came out just yesterday here. And at least to start, it is interesting to paint it kind of around some Nintendo stuff here, because Nintendo's done well at the Game Awards before in terms of nominees. I actually checked. They have had a game nominated for Game of the Year every year in a row here, except for 2018. 2018, that year was God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I know this isn't quite what we're talking about here, but Celeste basically considered a Nintendo game at that point because of how heavily it was tied into the Switch.
Right, exactly.
Launch window? No, that was a year after. Was that 2018? You said?
Yeah, this is 2018. Like 2017, Nintendo did very well at the Game Awards because they had Breath of the Wild, which won a bunch of things, and Mario Odyssey. I'm trying to remember what even was Nintendo's big 2018 game. I know they had a bit of a sophomore.
It was Smash.
No, because Smash was nominated. Oh, so that's why.
Because it came out in December of 2018, so it wasn't eligible for that year's Game Awards. So technically, they didn't have a 2019 game that would have been.
Okay, so they don't have a 2018 game nominated based off a technicality, basically. That is why. And even just throughout all of this list, I mean, they only have like 5 nominees, and 3 of them are in Best Family Game. right? Which we joke about as being the best Nintendo game category. And you have Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Jamboree there, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Then you have Plucky Squire and Astrobot there. Now, I don't think Plucky Squire is going to win, but Astrobot could actually just win this category and take a win away from Nintendo here.
Yeah. Real quick, I'll do this because there's not very many. I tried looking up every game that Nintendo has published this year, and it's not a ton, so I don't think I'm missing anything on this list. This looks correct to me. It was Another Code Recollection, Mario vs. Donkey Kong Remake, Princess Peach Showtime, Endless Ocean Luminous, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, NES World Championships, Famicom Detective Club, Emio, Smiling Man, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Mario Party Jamboree, and then Mario and Luigi Brothership. Decent amount of like remakes and re-releases in there. It was kind of one of those years, and then a few smaller games. So I guess it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't have a ton of stuff in there this year. Because the highest profile release, I guess, would be Zelda, and Zelda was a little divisive.
Yeah.
Mostly, I think, in the 80s, broadly speaking. But
yeah,
some
people like it. I think it was disappointing for a couple people, but it's not like, it's not going to become a Game of the Year nominee. I think their best game this year, pretty handily, really, is actually Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
And that's a remake. And remakes aren't automatically disqualified, but it's tough for them to get big nominees. It's generally has kind of been the Resident Evils that do it. Like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, sure, and Rebirth. Now, those are barely even remakes.
Big, large-scale remakes. Yeah, like even Silent Hill 2, huge remake, as opposed to Thousand Year Door, which is a very traditional remake. Literally, they just kind of remade the same game. It looks... It's like the Wind Waker HDs, where it looks the way you remember it in your head, even though it is updated in a variety of ways.
It's like Metro Prime Remastered is kind of a good comparison to me, even though that one has remastered the title. That's like a remake on the level of this. I would have loved to see Thousand Year Door nominated for Best Role-Playing Game, at least, which is a really strong category. Like, I don't know how much we want to get into that, but, Shadow of the Earth Tree is nominated for Best Role-Playing Game, but Persona 3 Reload and Thousand Year Door are not.
I need to talk to some people, Mike. I need to talk to some people. I just want to talk.
Gosh. The other Nintendo nominees is Mario Party Jamboree is nominated for Best Multiplayer. That's a tough category this year with Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Space Marine 2, and Tekken 8. So, not sure about that. And then Best Action Adventure Game, that's an Echoes of Wisdom nominee. But you have Astrobot, Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, and Star Wars Outlaws there. Another tough category. I think there's a very good chance Nintendo doesn't win a single award at the Game Awards this year.
I think it's very likely, actually, because people do really like Astrobot. That's a fantastic video game. And so categories that's in, I think it probably will win outside of, I'm kind of feeling maybe not Game of the Year. I think it's possible, but I don't know if people feel that strongly about it. Feels like it might be one of those situations where they give a bunch of other awards and then they want to name something else Game of the Year.
Yep, you might be right. I think it has its shot still. Maybe it's a pretty open field for Game of the Year, and I'll read the nominees for that right now. It's Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Earth Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantazio. I think there are 4 very, very strong games there, and then also Black Myth Wukong, which I don't really think... I didn't play it, but I don't know. The vibe I got from a lot of people...
That's a whack nomination, dude. I'll say it. I played a little bit of it, thought it was solid. I think Stellar Blade is the better action game this year, so I'm just looking at that one a bit puzzled. And I think there's probably a story there related to who is voting on these things this year.
And then Shadow of the Earth Tree, I'm not worked up about it. I don't really love expansions being...
I am. I'll say it, Mike. This is bullshit. It's snubbing Persona 3 Reload. It's snubbing Silent Hill 2. It's snubbing all these things that should be there instead. I'll say it, Stellar Blade, even though most people wouldn't. Like, all these games should be here instead of a DLC. Tekken 8. A lot of people like Tekken 8. All these games deserve that spot over DLC for a game that has already come out. Sorry, that's my rant.
All right. What is the one game that missing from Game of the Year that you would like to insert in there the most?
Oh, for me personally, it would be
for
Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to see that there. I would actually like to see Silent Hill 2 in there. I liked Silent Hill 2 a lot. I think they did an absolutely fantastic job with that one. So
People seem
would,
to love it. Yeah.
I was very impressed with it. Like, I was only mildly interested in it coming out, and like the buzz got surprisingly good, and I was very impressed by how much I liked it. All right, so like again, I think it's a pretty open field for a lot of these. I'm not really sure for a couple of them, but what do you think is winning game of the year?
Yeah, if I had to shoot my shot right now, I would
It's tough.
I
yeah,
hate it because since it's nominated, I kind of want to say Elden Ring.
You think Elden Ring's?
Like-
I don't think Elden Ring's gonna win.
Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, because it's an option, it feels icky, but I kind of feel like it's possible. But setting Elden Ring aside, I want to say Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy is a good shot. I think Metaphor is a shot. I think it'd have more of a shot if it came in a little bit earlier, because I think a lot of people maybe haven't finished it quite yet. I beat it just last night, by the way. Finally, I finally did nip that bud.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
did
thank
it.
you. I feel quite accomplished and happy. So I could see Rebirth apps taking it for sure. I'm gonna shoot my shot and say Metaphor. I think Metaphor.
Okay, you
has
ain't
a lot
enough of us RPG freaks are gonna stand up and say Metaphor.
I think maybe so. I think the people who like Metaphor really like Metaphor, and I think they might be loud voices. Go ahead, Christian.
Also, I think Metaphor has the benefit of being very recent. It's very fresh in people's memories, unlike the other games on the list.
Well-
By the way, the other games in the list are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Meat Wukong, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII, and Metaphor.
Did
Those
you
are
miss?
the
Did you
nominees
miss when
for
I
Game
said
of the
all of
Year.
this?
Yeah, did you miss
Did
that
you
part?
say those? I'm sorry.
Yes, I did.
I should stand up to open the door to my dog. Like a second.
Blame it
Sorry.
on the dog. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Last of the
Stupid
Nintendogs.
dog.
How
I'm
dare
gonna
you?
kick it. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's all good. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's going to be interesting. Some other things from the other categories that stand out to me. My least favorite snub of the list is in the best performance category, where we have Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Is that Tifa or
That's
Aerith?
Aerith.
That's Aerith.
That's Aerith.
fine.
And you know what? Deserved, because she's fantastic.
Yeah, I would have been happy with Tifa too. I think plenty of good performances in that game. Hannah Telly as Life is Strange Double Exposure. Humberly Gonzalez, Star Wars Outlaws. I actually met her when I did that Star Wars Outlaw preview event. So I was in Disneyland with her. She was very nice. Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2, very good. And Melina Jurgens, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
It's crazy, sorry. Not a single person from Metaphor, which like is one of the few JRPGs that has really good dub.
Yeah,
And
that's the problem we
not
all
a sing-
have here. That's the problem we all
Not
have.
as not a single person from A Thousand Times Resist, which the voice acting in that game is incredible. It's probably the best voice acting in a video game I ever heard in my life.
That's why I think about Metaphor. I think Metaphor literally has the best voice acting in a video game I ever heard. There are so many good people. Heismate especially. That I think maybe it got hurt that there's so many good people in it that maybe the outlets were split on who they're voting for. Maybe we should have all rallied around Heismate. I don't know.
No,
That one rubs me wrong.
I think was it you who pointed on the Bombcast that because best performance,
people are upset
lean
about
towards,
mocap.
Yeah, things with
Yes.
mocap. I think that you may be onto something there.
Look, mocap's fine, but like
It's fun.
whatever.
Oh my God.
Pure voice performances are also important. That's fine
Yeah.
too.
It's crazy because the voice acting, the English voice acting was so ass in games and anime and shows and shit. And now that it's like getting good, they're not getting like accolades and shit, and it's so annoying to me.
It's been
like,
so good for, I would say, like it's been particularly good for past like 5 or so years, I would say,
Yeah.
and they're just not getting the recognition there.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that bothers me. Christian, I know you have a bone to pick. I'll let you have the floor now.
Yeah.
Here you go.
What's up with A Thousand Times Resist? Like one of the most like indie games like ever. Like you see OpenCritic, Metacritic has like the highest reviews ever, and it's not in any category. Like not a single one, not even debut, not indie,
Not
not
enough
like.
people played it, which
Yeah.
is
I mean,
it's a bummer. I only played the first 2 chapters, I guess you'd say, of it, and I was hooked. I wanted to keep going, and I forget what, but this year has been a wild ride, and something else came out and hooked me instead. I just haven't gone back. It's one of those I want to get around to before we start talking about our Game of the Year stuff at Giant Bomb and everything.
It is a pretty strong best indie game category. You got Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. But yeah, I mean, just looking at its reviews and stuff, I am a little surprised that 1,000 Times Resist is not on here.
Yeah. It's weird because like usually there's not like they go to super niche with their picks. They go. Sometimes it feels like, oh, what is the most voted thing on Metacritic, on OpenCritic, and you pretty much got that category, you know.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a shame.
It's always going to be the problem with any of these award shows that are like awards
Yeah.
by committee, is because it is basically a popularity contest and not necessarily something
Yeah.
more like the DICE Awards, where it is
Or the
them
BAFTAs.
trying to and the BAFTAs trying to recognize high quality development. You know.
Yeah, yes, I was like, oh, I don't care. I always say like, I don't care about this, and now I care for some reason. I was like, I felt offended
You
a
always
little bit.
care more about this. It happens to all of us. We get more upset about the snubs than like the games we like getting nominated sometimes, right? It's a little human nature-y. It
Yeah.
just happens. I'll tell you
I
what.
feel like it's so. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, what
Christian.
was it?
No, you go ahead.
I was like, it's so special. Like the game is so special. I don't know if it's special to me, but I feel like it's special for like most of the people. Everybody I know will play the game. Is like it feels like, oh, this is a special game, and like seeing it not there is it's just weird to me.
Everyone
It's
sees
a bummer.
playing like Jan and Hyam, and that trickling down to like the Nasty Boys, and then out into other audiences and everything, and like everyone seems to love it, and so I really want to get through it and see where that story goes.
I'll tell you what, Christian. I will play it before we do the Game S Game of the Year. At
Let's
least.
go.
I will get to it. I'll get to it for you. That'll
Thank
make
you.
you feel better.
We need more soldiers.
There you go.
Hecky Almo. Let's go.
I'm oddly happy to see in the best fighting game category Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection being in there.
Yes.
That's a funny one.
Normally, it's kind of silly to do compilations, and I would never. But that was a very good compilation that they put together. I'm so happy with the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. So, I mean, it's not going to win. Tekken 8's going to win that category. Maybe Sparking Zero.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If there's
yes.
enough outlets in other regions, shall we say, then Dragon Ball has a shot. Otherwise, keeping in mind that is primarily influenced by games media, I would assume it'll be Tekken 8.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about multiverses. Multiverse is like, it came out this year.
That's just people
It's a bit of a
filling out their
cop-out.
lists. Yeah, it got nominated. It's not going to win.
Yeah.
Also, knowing there's another game that's much better than that is Under Night that came out like earlier this year, but it came out in January, so it kind of got forgotten. Only the most hardcore fighting game people remember that game, but that's a really good fighting games that I miss on the. I feel like from this category I will only change multiverses for Under Night.
So yeah, I don't think it's quite as strong a field as we had last year. Even though, like for me personally, I like this year almost as much as last year, and part of that is just being a big RPG fan because there's been so many, basically one of those. And like I love Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown a lot. I knew it was never going to get as much love as it really deserved, but it's got some good representation here. It is on best action adventure game and some other things. I would love to see it get maybe a little bit of love somewhere or another, but yeah, also, I know Jeff is pretty ambivalent towards this stuff, and I don't blame him. I have a little bit fun keeping track of it and seeing how it shakes out, because just to kind of get a feel of what people are thinking and how they're feeling. I mean, look, I don't think we've had like a bad game win Game of the Year ever at the Game Awards, or at least not for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the
One
Dragon
that,
Age Inquisition was the one where it was like, but it was a weak year when that won in 2014.
Yeah, you usually games that deserve it, but we just aren't that into win. I don't think it's ever been any kind of like split vote situation where something that most people don't care for wins. Yeah, I think you're right.
Exactly that. And I think, some people would say It Takes Two. I like It Takes Two. I thought It Takes Two was pretty good. So
Yeah, it's
that
fine.
didn't bother me. The book is annoying. I hate that book in the game for sure. Is there anything else anybody wants to say?
Best esports athlete. You like best esports athlete?
I don't like any of these esports things. What is any of this shit?
It's
What
carryover
is
from all
Mobile
the
Legends Bang Bang?
all this stuff got added, like, in 2018 or whatever, when there was that giant esports push. And look, I'm not saying esports don't matter, they do, but it was like, no, esports, they are having their big mainstream moment, so we have to have 3 categories for it at the Game Awards. It's one of those things where it's awkward to lose categories now. Although we don't have, are they not doing like content creator of the year? No, that's right, it's there.
Yes,
it's, it's the one we don't recognize anybody.
It's a bunch of people we don't know, and then a VTuber. Yes,
I know a couple of these fuckers. I know Queso, and I know Ilajuan is that guy is huge, and he's a Spanish streamer, so he's like the biggest Spanish streamer. And I know Pecora, because she's a VTuber, and I get
naturally
her clips on TikTok sometimes.
Game Awards, that is happening on December 12th, right? December 12th. So
sometime in there, second week of December.
Yeah, December
somewhere.
I think
it's the 12th.
Yeah, all right. So we'll see what's going on there. Giant Bomb will be there. So it'll be fun.
Both of us as part of that, to be clear. Yep,
exactly. So gosh, I'll see you in LA soon. Isn't it funny? It took so long to see you, and I'm going to see you.
Now we see you every day.
Yep. Okay.
Mike, I don't know if you saw us in the chat. People were saying it's not Nintendo related at all, but it is us related. Did you see that FF14 Mobile officially got announced?
Oh yeah.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
FF14 Mobile.
So there's some monkey's paw things going on here. First of all, it looks like it's going to be a solid conversion because it's by Lightspeed Studios, the people who did PUBG Mobile, and I've played that. That's a very faithful adaptation of that game. It looks like it's its own thing, which
really
makes it immediately kind of less interesting to me. But I suppose in context makes it kind of like a RuneScape Classic kind of thing, where it's its own separate thing that is also compatible with mobile then. So
that's interesting.
I'm not just details seem a little light right now.
Yeah, so I'm not just like, am I just playing as my character, or is it doing?
That's the thing. I think it's like a starting over with a new fresh thing, and maybe it's a condensed version of that story or something.
I don't.
All right,
I got it. But that was I mean,
I'll say
the ride of emotions.
If it has controller support, I can see myself trying it out at least, because I did just order. I just got charged for it. I just saw the charge go through on Amazon. The 8BitDo Ultimate mobile controller.
Oh,
it's one of those like telescopic controllers, like a backbone.
Yeah,
it looks like but it's made by 8BitDo, and it looks like it's just using the 8BitDo Ultimate controller parts by a telescopic mobile controller. So, and that might be nice for checking out games like this, where I don't know if I'm going to stick with it, but at least for trying out, right?
Yeah, I'll try it out. I don't love playing games on my phone, but it does happen sometimes, like it's happening right now with Pokemon TCG Pocket. So,
yeah,
we'll see. Other news story here is that F-Zero X soundtrack has been added to Nintendo Music app. This is great for me. I think when Nintendo Music came out, we did a thing where we asked everybody which one soundtrack you want on there, and I think I might have said F-Zero X. So Mikey got his wish. I'm happy. If you don't know, this is a very guitar rockin' heavy soundtrack, just incredible versions of those amazing F-Zero compositions. So I am pleased to have this one on here.
Finally, a way for you to listen to the F-Zero soundtrack. Never been done before.
It couldn't be done before. I do sometimes.
This whole Nintendo Music thing, it's a little silly. I can see some utility because it is kind of neat that they have the built-in looping tools and stuff. That's kind of cool. But this whole thing it's silly. It's just them not wanting to share revenue on Spotify, YouTube Music, all that.
I know, but I do like sometimes using it as an excuse to actually do a listen through of a soundtrack instead of just listening to the one song I like from it a lot. And the drip
if
feed,
they really fill out the app, I think it'll be really good, because sometimes it's hard to find some of these albums on those services if they exist there at all. So if Nintendo themselves is putting out their own app, which means that they put in every song from a bunch of these albums, could be cool. I think in the long run, it's just, I fired it up the other day. I'm like, this thing is kind of sparse, isn't it?
Yeah, the drip feed has been bad. It's it seems like it's once a week. So I hope they pick that up. Okay, why don't we take a quick break here? We'll come back and we'll read the super chats.
Alrighty.
All right, break. This Ultimate Mobile gaming controller is how much is it?
$50. So it's actually cheaper than the usual Backbone or Backbone clones.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really nice.
Right? Real quick. I don't know what you call it.
I like the texture on the back of it.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where there's just rare cases where something isn't available on Steam Deck, but there's a version of it on mobile nowadays, which is a bizarre thing. Like Fortnite, for example, or
Yeah.
was it Honkai Star Rail still isn't available on Steam Deck because the anti-cheat stuff. So I think for games like that, just having a $50 telescopic controller, that would be nice.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Man, I got excited and then I stopped getting excited about that Final Fantasy 14. Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, if it's
Whiplash. Is it like a Final Fantasy 15 mobile thing where they made everybody chibi?
No, it's
Remember
like
that?
it looks like it's just Final Fantasy 14, but from them saying like relive the grand tale and everything, and the way they're talking about it being optimized for mobile, it sounds like it's going to be its own thing.
Oh,
I'm desperately trying to find details on
what's
this.
stopping them from making just straight up Final Fantasy 14 for mobile? What is this?
I'd assume just because so much content at this point, and they can't.
Just stream
The
it.
engine it runs on probably wouldn't work well on mobile, is my assumption. Oh yeah, like they're saying 9 jobs will be available at launch. So yeah, this is gonna be its own
Yeah. Imagine if the Final Fantasy 14 1.0, let's fucking go. Bring it back.
thing. 1.0,
let's
yeah,
drop Dalamu.
before the meteor,
Yeah, before Dalamu hit
yeah.
the world. Blow it up.
Yeah, listen to how they're describing this. FF14 Mobile inherits the relaxed and welcoming community aspects of the original game. So try to say, hey, it's like 14. We swear it's just not actually 14.
Alrighty. Okay.
Alright.
Ready to get into it and do the super chats?
I got them pulled up.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go back into it. You know what? I kind of want to play Final Fantasy 14 1.0 for some reason. All right, let's go back.
And we are back. Sean, would you please read the super chat, sir?
Absolutely. First here from Uriel Delgado. Is anyone else participating in NNN? No Nostalgia Critic November?
I was just for a moment there. I was worried. The only thing I ever
every day.
The only thing I've ever seen of the Nostalgia Critic is that Folding Ideas video about the terrible nostalgic video parody of Pink Floyd's The Wall. And it is something. I think about that all the time.
He killed that guy.
He killed that guy. Yeah, I think at one point he's like, what? That guy is like, Nostalgia Critic wants to be an artist, but he can't because he has no creative curiosity. And his idea of a joke is, what if Batman met Goku? Like that's something like that. I was like, damn.
I always found Nostalgia Critic pretty pretentious. So way back in the day when he and Angry Video Game Nerd had like a fake beef going on, I was always like, yeah, beat him up. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I still have a soft spot for the Angry Video Game Nerd. I still like that fine.
I checked in on one of his recent videos. I'm like, yeah, this is still AVGN. It's fine.
Like,
I think most people get like isn't as good anymore, but
yeah. I mean, I'm sure the quality's drop off, but a lot of it is because there's that weird phenomenon of hate subreddits, which does nothing but hate people. The Angry Video Game Nerd one is real weird.
His is bad.
It's weird. Yeah. All they do is like make fun of him for being
not really his, but like his his hate one is like, oh God,
it's real weird over there. I'm like, okay, I think maybe you've changed more than the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, it's shocking that you don't find the same things funny 10 years later.
Reddit being weird? No way.
Right. Imagine that.
Yeah, no way.
All right.
Uriel also adds on, have you heard about the Fable gameplay details that Jez has talked about? And I just confidently say, no.
No, I have not. I'll have to look at that. I'm curious. I am cautiously optimistic about that game. I mean, Fable at its best was Fable 2, and that was like the one Fable experience I probably had a memorable time with. But there's some juice in the idea, so hopefully we can make something interesting with that.
Okay. Simon from Saskatchewan, is Jeff Keighley in Nintendo jail now?
No, I don't think Jeff Keighley's in Nintendo.
He's the jailer on the Nintendo jail. He's the one that beats you up.
He has full access, yeah.
I'm sure Nintendo knows that it's been a week ish slow year for them, right? And
Yeah, like they're not going to talk about it, but they have a new console coming out next year. So,
and it's wild because last year was very good. Last year we got Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Probably some other things I'm forgetting about. So like they had a shockingly good year last year for how late we were in the cycle. We were due for a bit of a dud.
exactly. It happens. You know, you got to have a slow year when you lead up to major launches.
Yep.
Another one from Simon. Mike said $5, not $5 US. Important, it's $5 Canadian for impressions.
Oh
He's got
gosh,
you there.
did I ever say that?
Yeah, you said $5 minimum for
You're right.
impression attempts.
Yeah, that's what I said. I put that
Christian
rule
said it.
because-
That's right.
Christian said it. That's
People were
right.
giving like $1 for impression. We can't do that.
Yeah, you were
It's
just
true.
giving
You
away
have to
for
be
free. Christian's
higher.
like, nah, you got to step up.
Yeah.
So they're asking for dialogue between Stallone and Schwarzenegger talking about Mario's mainline games. Thanks, much appreciation.
Hey, Arnold. I mean, I just don't really think that the Super Mario 3D World really pushes the series forward. You know what I mean? It's a main line. It's a main line. I get them so mad.
You were doing so well with the
So
Stallone.
well.
The
It just
Stallone
completely
wasn't bad. Maybe I
Stallone
could do a
decent.
decent Stallone. The Stallone's
decent
not
Stallone.
bad.
I was impressed by that.
He's like, oh,
actually.
hey, Arnold,
Yeah.
it's just like, why you gotta go and say those things you say about
you'll
Super
win.
Mario 3D
Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
Endorse Trump or some shit like that.
Oh, God.
Okay. And yet another one from Simon. Next up, thank you, Simon. I want to see how much Jeff and Dan can retain from all of Persona 5's Persona explanation sections. I just watched videos how to best do it because I faded out fast. I have a high attention span too.
Persona 5 has videos on like the specific personas, like the backstory of Mara, the penis chariot.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
'Cause I don't even remember this. So
I'm
my
trying to figure
memory's
out-
not helping.
I assume maybe they mean like a YouTube video,
like
or
a
something
lore
explaining
video
stuff.
or lore recap. Persona
Yeah, I'm not
5.
sure. All I
Yeah.
can tell you is that Jeff and Dan don't retain any information about that series, that developer, anything about any of that, whether it be firsthand from us, whatever it is. I can
They barely retain information about the world that surrounds us. So
They barely retain information about what's going on in their own house, you know, like they forget what they did yesterday. Empanada Eater says, "Hey, it's Sean from the hit internet program Day Sean." That's right.
Sean, let's fucking
Can
go.
you believe Mike got me for this one?
Yeah, I know, right? High profile Sean of Days. Sean. Yeah. How's it feel to have your own Giant Bomb video feature?
Gotta be real, Mike. I did not expect this to be a thing that would be known for a Giant Bomb.
It's funny the things you become associated with, right? I never saw RoboCop, and that became my thing for a while.
Yeah, that was an odd one, huh?
Yep, yeah, fun stuff.
Dr. Ryan, in defense of Days Gone, it's the only open world game that takes place kinda around where I live. Just give me this one. Oregon doesn't get much.
No, I mean, there's a lot of games kind of like unspecific. Pacific Northwest, like Alan Wake is somewhere over there. Maybe it says where.
Pacific
It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
I stumbled on that for a little bit. Alan Wake is somewhere in that area, so I don't know exactly where, but it's close.
That's fair. I know
you
you
get
like
Oregon
the
Trail?
game, Dr. Ryan, so hopefully if you do check out any of the later episodes, hopefully you like
You got the
what we're doing.
biggest game, Oregon Trail.
Oh, yeah. I want to play some Oregon Trail. It's been so long. Gosh.
Play after you play Mist on the
There you
side.
go. Oh, what's a good Oregon Trail mic affiliated? Workshop that chat. Give me a mic.
Oregon Week, a Giant Bomb. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oregon Week. Yes.
All right, I like it.
Okay. El Grug, what are the top 3 impressions Mike can do Death Triangle?
Well, I
Do you
guess,
have any other impressions outside of a Stallone?
well, there's Pac and there's Stallone now, and Toad. I can do a good Toad.
Okay,
Hey,
give us a
Toad!
death. Give us a death triangle.
What
in
are
each
you
one.
trying to say? That triangle.
That's Stallone.
That's Stallone. Hey Toad. I mean, I just think you need to quiet down a little bit. We can all hear you just fine. You know what I mean?
Say a line, Bart.
Death Triangle.
There you go. And the original.
Because my mainline Mario game is in it. I don't know. Death Triangle.
Death Triangle.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's the best I
We
got
got
because
it.
I was asked to do one too.
You got it. You
That
got
was me doing impression of Mike doing the Death Triangle.
it. We'll say Buniello has a very good Stallone. I think Buniello like popped in one time.
He
when I was,
would, wouldn't he?
yeah. I think he popped in when I was watching a Rocky movie with Dan on Discord or something one time. He came in and it was very good.
Sounds right. Hey, he's a performer, so that makes sense.
Yes.
Brogan95, good evening, dogs. Which do you think is worse for Game Award nominations, DLCs or remakes? Definitely DLCs.
Definitely
Yeah,
DLCs.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we think that remakes should be eligible, to be clear.
We're pro. My game of the year last year was Resident Evil 4. So yeah, I'm very pro remake.
It's
Yeah,
different
exactly.
from a remaster. Do not confuse.
Yes,
Remaster
exactly. Yeah.
maybe not.
Which
Yeah.
ironic because, like Mike brought up earlier, Metroid Prime Remastered is totally a remake and branding kind of screwed
Yeah,
over that
it's
one.
more of a gradient than a line with these things, right? And that's why I think people
Right.
get kind of caught up on it. But like, look,
Yeah.
when we leave it to voting bodies, they usually do kind of figure it out. It gets sussed out for the most part.
It's a vibe check. You usually check it correctly. So
I think Elden Ring's a bit of it's an interesting case. Look, a lot of people love Elden Ring, and I think video game critics especially love Elden Ring. Of course they do, and they really, that Shadow of the Erdtree was very good, and it reviewed very well. So
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to having this conversation with
Right.
Tam when we have to talk about Game of the Year.
yeah, I wonder.
stuff.
Yeah, I do wonder where Tam falls on that.
He's on Blue Sky. He's the one who voted for it for GameSpot and like had them put on the ballot. So
Right. I mean, the way that God, I was careful because like you're not allowed to talk specific about the ballots, right? But remember, you nominate multiple games. Sometimes it's like, well, what's the fifth one we're going to nominate? And maybe then some people were like, oh, sure, all right, with this one. So
Yeah.
I still don't think it's going to win, but we'll see.
Okay. And Burrito snuck one in there too. Slowly building a Death Triangle sound library. This is gonna get used against us. These bad impressions.
it's gonna
at
train
some point.
an AI and makes his own podcast.
Incredible.
Control
Burritos,
program.
Burritos making a competing Last of the Nintendogs featuring all of us.
All right.
I do believe. Yep, that's it for now, Mike.
Thank you, everybody, for super chats. If you want to send more, we will get to them before the end of the show. But Sean, shall we move over to the mailbag?
Sounds good to me.
Now you know how we get the letters. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Get angry, Sean. Go ahead. Attack that human being. Get the letters. There you
Oh
go.
my god, he got it on the neck. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
leave it
Sean,
alone.
don't kill. Sean,
Oh my
it's,
God.
Sean, it's
So
a
much
woman.
blood.
Your
I've been
coach.
trained.
Your
Days
coach.
Gone has trained me, Mike.
Your coach, Sean. All right, thank you very much. These are just a little bloody, but that's fine. We'll read them just the same. Actually, I should have figured out how I'm going to do this because you're about to get very small. Would you mind reading them, Sean? Actually. Oh wait, no. What am I
Sure.
talking about?
What?
I can
No.
read them. They're not in Discord. They're right here. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. You got them in the rundown. You're
I
fine.
got it. I'm figuring it out, everybody. It's my first podcast. From Laser Wolf, it says, I have a question for Sean. Thanks to
Yep.
Pokemon TCG Pocket, I want to get into collecting and playing the physical game, but I haven't done that since the original series. How do I get started?
Okay, so there's a couple different routes you can take. If you are a family person and like maybe you have kids of your own or you got like nieces and nephews, the TCG, well, it's Battle Academy is basically a $20 board game version of the card game. It is the full-size card game, not like TCG Pocket, which is simplified. So you could get that. They give you some decks. It even has a couple decent cards in there. And you can use that to learn how to play a TCG in an enclosed space because again, it's board game like, so they like teach you how to do everything with it. If you yourself are just like a solo adult trying to like figure out the game and everything like that, good ways to do it are if you do have a local card shop, which I recommend going to, go like see what they got going on, see if they have a league, see maybe ask the employees, hey, is your league like is it mostly kids? Are there some adults there? Feel out the vibes. Because then there's a bunch of products that you can get that are made for entry level stuff, like the what is that one called? It's the Battle League deck. I forget what they're called, but it's like they have a rating system on Pokemon products now. It's really cool. So like Battle Academy is like a level 1, and then this one that I'm talking about that includes some EXs and stuff. It's like a level 2, and so you could like step up to that. Or alternatively, if you want to do it at home, TCG Live, a little bit of a buggy app, but that other Pokemon TCG app you can get on your phone. gives you a bunch of cards. If you already know loosely how to play a game from Pocket, most of that will transfer over. And yeah, you can just learn how to play on the app as well. So that would be a really simple way to do it if you just want to learn how to play the game and not as much about collecting. When it comes to collecting, just go whatever seems cool to you. Don't get into it for the value or like trying to resell or anything like that. Just buy the stuff that looks fun to you, and just don't go too far down the rabbit hole and like blow a mortgage or whatever.
Bench JC says, let's just take a moment to remember how special Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I was happy to see it get nominated for a lot. I think it was tied for most nominations, along with Astrobot or something else. Right. I was worried because, like, just personally, I felt like I was getting surrounded by a lot of people like, I don't really like that game. I don't think it's that good. I don't like the mini games, or the story ending's real bad. Right. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm weird for thinking that it was kind of this masterpiece.
No, most people love it.
Good.
And so, yeah, the few people like me in your life were like, I have some issues with it. As much as I like the game, some issues with it. Most people just think it's overwhelmingly fantastic. And I do too. I think it's a fantastic game. Like when we did our loosey goosey review scores in the review cast we did, I said it was a 9. I do think it's a fantastic game. Just some issues with it, including the ending.
Yeah, I'm excited to see sort of what it wins. I think best soundtrack has a shot. I think it has a shot at Game of the Year.
Oh,
absolutely,
it's so good.
Its soundtrack is great. Gosh.
I listen to remake and rebirth music all the time.
It's freaking good.
It's so freaking good, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, I wonder what song they'll pick for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for. I always think about that Game of the Year orchestral montage, right? Because that always hits very hard. So I'll be excited.
I would assume, I forget exactly which version is in here, but something with Sephiroth, I would assume.
Yeah.
Genova's a good qualifier.
Oh, Genova would be good. Yeah,
she's in here now.
I like One Winged Angel. I'm like, I don't want to say I'm over it, but it's like, yeah.
It's iconic,
It's iconic. Yeah, I get it. There's that original song in the first game when you fight that one, like, flying robot thing. I can't remember what it's called. Like it's not the Airbuster. It was something.
There's good original songs in that. I like the now I'm forgetting what they're called, but like when you meet Aerith, like the nighttime song, and also the bandits theme. What the Beck's Badasses or whatever. Their theme is fantastic as well. Yeah, all of that stuff is really good.
Dorachi says it's the late '80s, and you work for Enix America. What do you do to make Dragon Quest as big in North America as it is in Japan?
Mike, okay. Hear me out here. You include a copy with every issue of Nintendo Power.
Wow, that sounds like a great plan, honestly. I was just about to say, I think they already did everything they could.
If anyone doesn't know, that's what they did back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That's why there are a lot of copies of Dragon Warrior out in the world, because a lot of people did have it because of that. And then, it's funny because we did get Dragon Warrior 2, 3, and 4 over here also. Yeah. They're all NES games, so we were getting for a while. But yeah, they just never really took off.
Were everywhere. One of my first RPGs outside of Pokemon was Dragon Warrior 1 on an NES clone console. I got it for $20 at my local store.
You got to remember that even Final Fantasy didn't really take off here for a while. Like Final Fantasy 3, it was starting to a bit, but it was Final Fantasy 7. I mean, the thing that made that series take off was it becoming the most technically impressive thing in the world at the time. That's why, the quote-unquote normies really got into it. And, it kind of kept that legacy for a while, and that gave it the foothold in North America. I don't know how you do that with Dragon Quest in the 80s.
Yeah, especially because Dragon Quest is very much the same thing iterated upon each time, whereas Final Fantasy could rely upon the visuals, both in art style and fidelity, to sort of, keep it going with that normie crowd, like you said.
But to answer your question, nudity.
Nailed it.
The Uncharted Wolf says, "What's up, dogs? I've been playing through Unicorn Overlord and absolutely adoring it so far. Are you worried that it'll get forgotten about by the time we reach Game of the Year talks? Don't let Dan bully it off the top 25. I finished Unicorn Overlord. I liked it a lot. I will say it's...
did?
I did, but it's probably not in my top 10, to be honest. I think the game overstays...
10 I can see, okay, sure.
It's very long, maybe a little bit too long, and it doesn't quite have the story or character juice to sustain itself after a while. It doesn't really even have the mechanic juice to sustain itself for that long. I think it could have been a very effective 30, 40-hour game instead of,
Oh, it's longer than that?
Gosh, how long was it now? Maybe it was.
Yeah, I thought it was 40.
Maybe what did it take me? Maybe it felt longer. Unicorn Overlord, time to beat. Maybe it should have been a 20-hour game. 60 hours is 47 hours. So yeah, it's about there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
For main story, but I was doing sides, so it probably took me like 60 because I did most of the side missions and everything. Which that's my fault. I'm a sicko like that.
Yeah, I want to go back to because that was around the time that Like a Dragon was out and Persona was out. So yeah, I already had other RPG stuff to do at that time. So didn't get as much time into it as like didn't even meet Dinah, which just tears me apart to my core. But I want to go back to it and put some more time in because it seems once you get more mechanics, it seems like it would be really fun.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get a lot of Game of the Year talk, but I think like through the years, people will bring it up and talk about it with fondness.
Yeah.
Well, Velocity Prime 1 says, Happy Tuesday to my better without Jeff dogs. Mario has 3 different RPG spin-off franchises, and yet Nintendo's other premier IP, Zelda, has none. What would be your pitch for a Zelda RPG? Do you think Nintendo would ever try it? I mean, if they made a Zelda RPG, remember they made that Lord of the Rings game that was just a Final Fantasy X clone?
They did?
Yeah. It was on GameCube and stuff. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, I believe it's called. Yeah, it's great. It's literally just Final Fantasy X's battle system, but you're playing as Lord of the Rings characters during Lord of the Rings story, but you're not like Gandalf and Frodo. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. That's what they should do. That would be my pitch. Final Fantasy X, but with Zelda.
Sure, why not? Yeah, do a traditional one because mainline Zelda in 3D is already so close to being an action RPG as it is, especially in the Breath of the Wild era. Yeah, I Lord of the Rings, by the way, they did some interesting stuff with that because they had they had like the Diablo clone on Game Boy Advance.
Yes, and then the beat 'em ups on the consoles. Yeah,
they did some cool stuff with this series back in the day.
Yeah, and then you had that weird like Hobbit game based on the books, not the movies.
Right.
Yeah. It was, we actually got some surprisingly good Lord of the Rings games for a while there.
Yeah. With Zelda, keep it simple, stupid. I think is the approach that they should take there.
Absolutely. Benji Bob says, have you listened to Long Distance Murder on Nintendo Music yet? Shout out F-Zero-X. Is that the name of a track in the F-Zero-X soundtrack? Because that's incredible.
That's a crazy name. That sounds like a name of like a dead metal
it's from
band.
F-Zero-X. The Long Distance of Murder.
Man, there's an Iron Maiden song called The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. It makes me think of that.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to listen to that soundtrack very soon.
Listen to it after this, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Always Be Clothing says, Sean and Mike, would you rather have a new Mega Man Legends game or a great remaster/remake of a previously existing Legends game? I say a new one because of the awful cliffhanger in 2. And look, as much as I want remasters or remake, I'm still fine booting up Dark Station and just playing those games. I think they hold up pretty well in a lot of ways. I think that some of that old game stuff would bother other people, but me, not so much.
Yeah, especially like I tossed a CRT shader on one of them one time that was really high quality, that where it's like simulating the individual pixels, and God, it just totally holds up visually. I'm looking forward to a collection at some point that cleans up the controls for 1. Literally just give 1 the controls of 2 and you have like a perfect game to me. Because if I think you know this, Mike, but it just has traditional dual analog controls in or now traditional dual analog controls in 2. Just add that to 1, that'd be great. But yeah, no, we definitely when it comes to Mega Man Legends, just give us 3. What 3 was going to be, just give us 3. Just like pick that project back up. We're at the point now where there are people at Capcom who probably love that game from their childhood because that's what all their series are doing, like Street Fighter and everything. Put those people on that project. I'd love to see that.
EP Idiot Box says, Mike, Sean, Grubb, and Christian have all been chosen to be in the next Smash Brothers. What are your characters' on-brand Final Smash attacks? Side note, I think Mike's up B would send him flying upward on Aladdin's magic carpet. I could see I'm just going to do the thing Fujin did in his boss fight in Mortal Kombat Mythologies before he dies and turn into a volcano. And every character has to get to the edge of the screen. You basically fight Fujin on Final Destination when you think about it, that level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to do the Fujin tornado attack.
I would probably have a ripoff of Pokemon Trainers Final Smash where I would call in like my 6 favorite Pokemon and they all just beat you up for a second with their various attacks.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Christian.
What would the Grubbs be? Wait, let's save the good for the last.
Sure.
Christian, you're not allowed to have a 9/11 themed final smash. I'm just gonna say
Then
it.
I'm out. Then I'm out.
Gonna say it.
I don't want to play anymore.
You can't do it.
Well, whatever. They give me a gun. Can I have a gun?
Sure. Fox has a gun.
Yeah.
like,
It's
they give me
gonna
a gun.
fire laser blast, but you can have a gun, yeah.
All right, and it turns like like the boss in the oh fuck, I'm banking on the name of this beat 'em up game where you play as the frogs. What's the name?
Oh,
Battletoads.
Battletoads.
Yeah, when it goes like you play against that boss. The boss is on first person and shooting you.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I
The
kinda
only
want that.
second person game in existence.
yeah, the second person. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
Sick,
like,
actually,
I mean,
yeah.
doesn't
pretty good.
there's some final specials that are kind of like that. I think Snakes was kind of like that.
Yeah, Snakes is close to that, yeah, but
Yeah.
he's still technically
I
playing
think
as
that
Snake.
Grubb. It's like when Kirby puts people in his cooking pot, but he puts you in Dan's sauna and just
Oh my
lets you
God.
dehydrate in there to death.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
a torture one.
There you go. Toshi says, I'm going on my honeymoon in a week and will have a lot of downtime on planes and boats. I plan on taking my Steam Deck with me since Brothership reviews were amazing. Pick what game I should play. I think that if you're interested in RPGs like Brothership, I think you should just get Dragon Quest III. I think that's a very good travel game because it's relatively light on story.
Yeah.
You can pick up and play, do some grinding, progress in the main story if you want to. I would check that one out.
That's definitely what I would say. An RPG. Obviously, if you haven't played Metaphor yet, Metaphor would be our go-to. But yeah, Dragon Quest next up.
I'm not sure how great of a travel game Metaphor is because it's like so story heavy and sometimes like it'll be a little bit awkward to just put it on rest mode where you left off. I don't know.
I mean, I've played that on Steam Deck a lot, Mike, and it is, just as like an hour before bed, which I assume would be a similar situation to what
Sure.
Toshi would have going on.
To be
so-
clear, I played all of Metaphor on ROG, right? I played the entire
Oh, there you
thing
go.
handheld. Yeah, so it's definitely good for a handheld, but like travel can sometimes be a little. Maybe that's just the way I am because I don't game a lot while traveling. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't raw dog it, but I'm like just listening to podcasts.
Also, I don't know if this is news or not, but I didn't realize that Toshi got married at some point. So congrats whenever
congratulations.
that happened.
Sludge Reinhold says, "Hello, dogs. If you have to type text like a password into a TV/game with a controller or remote and using a phone to type it isn't an option, do you prefer the on-screen keyboard to be laid out QWERTY style or alphabetical?
Oh.
More than anything, I wish every TV app would agree on one layout so I don't have to reorient my brain every time I switch to a different one. QWERTY for sure."
QWERTY, definitely, yeah, because that's just how my brain is wired for keyboards at this point.
We this is our language now. This is our
Yeah.
second language now. This is how we talk and we communicate. So it's crazy that it's any other way. I think
If you're gonna have
Uh,
one that's not QWERTY, maybe a hot take, T9, like texting on an old cell phone.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think the PS4 had that, but the PS5 doesn't. But like, I got so good at doing that on my old
Yeah,
phone.
I
that
don't know. I think you're a bit of a freak on that
mentally-
one. No way.
mentally, I got really fast at typing like that. So, and also think about it, on a console interface, you have to use the D-pad so much less if you do that.
Beyond Good and Evil had a very good typing system. It was like a spiral radial menu kind of thing. So you can kind of like keep flicking the analog stick. I liked that a lot. I think more games should do that.
Steam Big Picture mode, I don't think has it anymore, but it actually used to have that because they thought that would be a better way to do typing on a controller.
Yeah. I kind of like that actually a good bit. Jim says, "Hey, dogs, planning on starting Dragon Quest III HD 2D soon. Never tried the series before. So do you have any tips?" My best tip for you is to read one of those online things I wish I knew before starting Dragon Quest III kind of things. Because the job system kind of becomes a little complicated later if you want to get the best jobs. So it's something you might want to start planning for early on. Because early in the game, one of the first things you do is you go to this kind of tavern. And don't go on the first floor and take whoever they offer there. Go to the second floor where you can very specifically pick what party members you want. And then you can do things like get, female warrior, male thief, blah, blah, blah. You can make those decisions for your starting party at least. You can eventually sort of change people's jobs or upgrade them as you progress through the story, stuff like that. That's the big one that comes to mind. Oh, and search around a lot. It's one of those games where, you want to look in the bookcases, you want to look in the pots, and there's little money bags people hold on the doors. You can find a lot of those seeds that way that boost your stats. You can find books that change your character's disposition. It's called, that's kind of the growth tree for that character, and some are just better than others. So that's kind of one of the more interesting mechanics in the game too. Learn about the stat growths.
Yeah, Mike's the Dragon Quest expert here, so definitely listen to all of that. My advice for any RPG that offers this to you is to use every save slot if it gives you multiple
Sure.
within a single game. Like any Persona game, including Metaphor, does that. Just cycle through the slots. And I know that Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D has 9 available to you. So just, cycle through those if you're worried about missing those. Just cycle through to a different one every so many hours or so many quick saves or whatever.
Stinky says, woof woof to the dogs. Go watch the show from. Someone super chatted the recommendation a few weeks back, and that show's incredible. Walking blind kind of deal. Okay.
Yes, I've been trying to find some time to watch that show because everybody that watches this is like Lost but better. I'm like, whoa, all right. I kind of like Lost, so you're selling me on it. I know it's a dig on Lost, but
James Pye says, with the Switch 2's new power incoming, what are some JRPGs you would like to see ported over eventually? Anything Atlas always comes to mind. Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor Ventazo being obvious. Recent choices. Love you guys. Stay dangerous. Like the Final Fantasy remakes, 7 remakes.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those for sure. Those are big ones. And the Like a Dragon games. We've been getting some Yakuza ports recently.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the real new ones on there too.
No, that's an option. Yeah, those would be great for the Switch because they're great on Steam Deck. I know that for a fact. And so those would be good for Switch too, for people who don't have a Steam Deck, definitely. Outside of that, I'm trying to think. I think those are the two.
Tales of Arise wouldn't be bad.
Sure. Just improved version of some games, like native versions of the Kingdom Hearts games.
Yes, for sure.
Just using the power to make the recent Pokemon games run better, stuff like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Dragon Quest 11 was 60 FPS on Switch, right? That'd be good. So, stuff like that. Bikes and Brew says, with looming tariffs, do you expect Nintendo to delay the Switch 2 announcement even further out? Jeff actually released a video about this before he left on vacation, everybody, on the Game S channel. If you haven't seen that yet, pretty insightful from Jeff there. It's hard to say, right? But there's, even whether the tariffs happen or not, there's just anxiety about it, and just the threat of it is maybe going to make Nintendo a little cagey, maybe delay. Yeah. Look, they have to announce the Switch 2 by March 31st. We know that. They don't have to announce a release date or price then. So maybe that stuff gets kicked a little bit, especially price, because they really want to see where it is, because they don't want to have to announce a price and then raise it later.
Yeah. I haven't thought too much about that in regards to the tariffs other than what Jeff has said, but I'm not sure it would be delayed further than it already is, but that's also a difficult thing to pin down because they haven't said when they will officially talk about it for real. So I guess we'll find out.
Slane says, now that he's not here, you can freely answer, what's Jeff Grubb's fucking deal?
Good question. What, do you think tased one too many times? Or
I think he got tased by the cops so often and it rattled his brains. I think that's what it was.
That or one too many kids, who knows?
Yeah, his distaste for authority was his downfall. John M says, hey paisanos, I recently finished Final Fantasy VI for the first time and loved it, with the producer of Dragon Quest III HD 2D saying they want to remake FF6 in that style. Would you rather an HD 2D of Final Fantasy? Would you rather have an HD 2D or Final Fantasy VII Remake style reimagining for 6? I think I would actually rather have the Final Fantasy VII Remake style. I think that's incredibly unlikely, but the pixel remaster is kind of good enough for me there. I don't need it I don't need to see that upgraded just a bit more to become full on HD 2D. If we're gonna do something with Final Fantasy VI again, I would like to see it. If not like that, then maybe that Final Fantasy IV DS thing is kind of a good comparison, where we're doing things like adding voice acting and adding more cutscenes. I would like to see a bit more done with it than just a visual upgrade if we're going to really do something big with Final Fantasy VI. Now, you could do that stuff with an HD 2D, but I want more than just a facelift if we're going to bother doing a whole nother remake of that game.
Yeah, I think HD 2D is good for games that don't already have y- you don't already have a specific image of those games in your head. Like I thought Live Alive was a good choice because that's a smaller
Yes.
scale project. People don't inherently know what Live Alive is, so they could just sort of clean up the existing 16-bit graphics. And I think you're right that for something as beloved as FF6, they need to go big, and if not, go home.
Well, I mean, if it's something that hasn't had a remake in a long time, like Chrono Trigger, sure, you could probably do HD 2D for that, and I think that probably works there.
Sure.
And KS Buckaroo says, do y'all have any fond Black Friday gaming memories? I've never been a big Black Friday person, Sean. I said flack.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. That stumble got me good.
It's flack. Flack Friday.
It's okay. We got it. You're fine.
It was close, everybody.
was close.
It was flack.
Yeah.
All right. Stop saying it. Just in case.
Not related to gaming, I guess. I'm trying to think. Do I have any? Because usually it's just for me. I just order games for a cheaper price. I don't necessarily have gaming, like playing game memories associated with Black Friday. I do just think about back in high school. It was kind of cool to have an excuse to stay out all night with my friends because we could just say, yeah, we're going to Best Buy and the mall. That's our reason. And our parents would be like, well, you're like 17. Yeah, sure. You can stay out all night to do this because that's socially acceptable. So that's kind of fun to look back on.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I even ever did. Yeah, because there's so many November memories of being in lines back in the day for console launches when that was a thing. And, like the Wii, 360, Xbox One, like that those eras. I definitely did it for 3DS and maybe DS too, but
yeah, the era of the in-person midnight release and stuff, I do miss that stuff too.
It was fun. All right, why don't we take a break? We got plenty of more letters to get here. You were very ambitious when you attacked that mailman, so I appreciate that. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right, we're on a break. What do you want to do? Just jump back into it?
I gotta
go
get a drink real quick.
All right, go for it.
All right, go get a drink.
It's
You're thirsty,
heal up a little bit
motherfucker.
too.
Oh, look at big ass chug. Chug it.
Water's good, y'all. Water's real good.
Drinking that water. Sorry, hang on too many British people around me.
Apparently. Did I ever tell you
Where is
about
it?
that time at Combo Breaker where we started random ass chants in the crowd and one of them was "Drink that water"?
It's pretty good. No, but I yes, I believe you.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
We do stupid
Oh,
stuff
I've
in the
seen
Midwest
that.
to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, I've seen that. I seen the drink that water chant on the FGC before.
Yeah, Tekken in
Pretty good.
particular, because we just love hooting and hollering during Tekken.
Yeah,
at least
Tekken
during
is the
7
loudest
days.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tekken.
8 not as much. 8 has been a little calmer so far.
Is that offensive focus of the game?
Yeah.
Doesn't give you time for the chance.
Man.
Before everybody was backdashing all the time, so you have like years to chant your heart's content,
Yeah, are you of the opinion, I'll just say that I am, of like Arslan's maybe too good at the game for it to be interesting anymore?
Yeah, I think they just. I think they wanted the game to be more less defensive, and in that they didn't foresee the power of Arslan being like they gave him a bazooka pretty much, so now he dominates. He kind of and everybody have been playing Tekken 7 for fucking 7 years. I don't know how much, and they've been like backdashing their entire life, and now they have to go forward and the brains break. So I feel like it's gonna be better next year for sure. This year was kind of wonky.
Ready?
Dr. Ryan, real quick, I want to address this. He asked me if I ever went to UFGT before it became Combo Breaker. That's the Ultimate Fighting Game tournament that was held. And then when Keats, who you may have heard me mention as like being a developer on Killer Instinct, when he stopped doing that because he was running it, that's when Rick took it up and then did Combo Breaker.
The Hado.
Yeah, the Hado, who now manages Evo as well.
Evo.
No, I used to watch it, but I never got out there myself. I've only gone to Combo Breaker.
All right, ready to get back to it?
Let's do it.
Bring it back.
All right, we're back. We got more letters here from the listeners. Here's from Chris 2K. Says, an effort to ask you the most non-Jeff Grubb question possible.
Oh?
Please tell me your favorite waifu
Uh-oh.
from the following JRPG series.
Uh-oh.
We won't
I got you.
judge.
That's not true.
Okay.
You okay, Mike?
Look, there's things in these games about ages I don't necessarily want to get into sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
we'll skip Persona. We can skip Persona. That's the first one.
Right, because it's like, yeah,
we can abstain.
Yeah, because like when you play it, you're like, I'm in high school, and then like it's like, which of these high schoolers are you gonna date? And then it's only after you beat the game and people are like, who did you date? That I'm like, now I feel icky that you're asking me. Actually,
You know, I can be honest about this one. It is not for those reasons, but Rise is probably my favorite Persona.
how about
character.
Mitsuru
just think
Persona
very
3,
fun.
she's 28. I don't that's a lie.
Who's that? Who's the weird mean goth doctor from 5? I can say her.
Oh,
Ooh,
Takemi.
yes.
Yeah, we'll just say her.
Let's say Takemi. We'll all say
Also-
Takemi. There you go.
Yes. Agreed.
Final Fantasy. Gosh,
love
Yashtola's
Tifa.
good. They made Yashtola kind of boring lately. Yeah, Tifa's really gone up there since Final Fantasy VII Remake series. They've done Tifa a whole lot of good in recent years. That's for sure.
Yeah, those are my two boring answers in that order. Spicy answer? I like both Cindy and Mid from 15 and 16.
15.
Yeah, I like that they made the
culture I see.
upbeat female Sids to make the archetype a little bit more
Sure.
interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Sydney. Pokemon.
Gardevoir.
Sonia. Remember Sonia?
I remember
Sword and Shield.
She's on my wall.
well, there
My
you go.
actual answer is
you
right
got
back there, Nessa.
You have a
Standing up
Nessa.
behind me. That's the girl with the flowy hair.
That's
right
right.
behind me. I love that they basically took Misty and split her into two characters in Sonia and Nessa, who have really big and they were roommates energy, by the way.
Dragon Quest. Oh, gosh, do people have an answer aside from Jade for this? Jade.
Yeah.
It's Jade.
It's Jade.
Yes,
I
sure.
just don't know what else would. I mean,
Is there other character?
You literally do get married in 5, but I don't really remember
Heavenly
those characters
Bride,
that
yeah.
well. There's that one in 8 that didn't make a super strong impression on me, but I didn't finish 8, so yeah, we'll say Jade. And then Xenoblade Chronicles, easy uni for me. Easy uni.
The sword.
Can I count Pyra and Mithra as one character?
No, you gotta pick.
I gotta pick Pyra.
Yeah,
She's
I know.
Nobody got my joke about the sword.
I heard you about the sword.
No, I was riffing on that because they are the sword. You know,
Mhm.
it's one character. Yeah.
Oh,
They're the sword. That's them.
Yes. No,
Well-
I mean the actual sword.
Thank you,
Oh.
Chris 2K, for that very uncomfortable question. Really enjoyed it.
Very non-Jeff Grubb. I'll give it to you.
That's true. Jeff Grubb would have had 0 answers for these questions. The
Yeah.
only person that would have been funnier to ask is Dan Reichert, who doesn't really understand the idea of life. Remember how upset Dan was when we were playing that Family Feud style Jackbox game?
Yeah, remember when he didn't understand that Batman is hot?
Yeah,
And
he
we
was
were
like,
trying to explain, like, no, Dan, Batman is hot.
he also couldn't like wrap his head around the idea of like Batman as a nebulous concept and not just like the
Right.
George Clooney Batman, right? he's like, but there's so many Batman. Which one? I'm like, just all of them.
It's
Dan.
like, no, Dan, the dude in the
Just
suit. He's
anywhere.
hot, okay?
Joyzy says, everything has experience points and skill trees these days, so how do you define what games are RPGs? My definition is that the succession of main action of the game, normally hitting an enemy with a basic attack, must be more dependent on the character's skill than the player's skill. I think that's a good way of putting it. It's interesting because I think it's just a matter of like the balance of that action stuff in the RPG systems. Because there are games that lean pretty hard into feeling like action RPGs. I think the Tales of games are a good example of that, where they're very close to like, is this primarily a JRPG? And for me, that one is a yes, even though it's so close to being primarily an action game. And even like Ys, to me, that's like, okay, that's straight up action RPG.
Right.
And if you wanted to call Tales of that too, I wouldn't really disagree, but that one's a bit more like, oh, that's still kind of more on the JRPG side for me. It's difficult, and it's a bit of a I know it when I see it thing.
Yeah. For me, it really is as simple as number go up.
Mhm.
Like if number goes up, that's an RPG. Like maybe it just has RPG elements. Maybe it's kind of an RPG, but if number goes up, then yeah,
It's Call of
an
Duty and
RPG at that
RPG.
point. The progression system literally is an RPG.
See, that's the thing. It's like, but I get what
You
you're
got
saying.
your
But like,
loadouts are classes, and
right? I
everything,
get what you're
like-
saying, but at that point, when the definition is so loose, it almost doesn't become an effective classification tool anymore. You know?
I know,
Right.
but that's so many things in gaming right now are so diluted at this
Right.
point that yeah.
I mean, turns out RPGs.
I think Joyce's on something though of when the way you build out your characters is more important than what you do moment to moment. The problem is just that falls apart a little bit when you talk about something like the FF7 remake saga, where you can't get anywhere without being good at attacking and dodging. But I would definitely call those RPGs. They are action RPGs, but they are RPGs.
Yeah. It's just, RPGs are good, and we slowly just kind of saw RPG mechanics get put into almost everything, right? Even like Zelda kind of feels more and more like an actual RPG every time, a lot of ways. Things like God of War, right? That became so much more of an RPG with the remakes and stuff. So
yeah,
reboots.
but I think at the end of the day, you even said it there. It's just kind of vibes based, where like, does this feel like an RPG? I think that's good enough of a explanation. As Firehair points out in chat, that ironically, what we call an RPG often has absolutely nothing to do with actually playing a role.
Yeah, that part is not important. Exactly.
No.
Nope. Bayleaf Moon says, if Nintendo Music saw an uptick in NSO subscribers, do you think we could, in some other universe, we could see the NSO game collection on mobile? And would you even play them on your phone? Gosh, I feel like I'd never thought about it before, and it's an interesting question. Because part of me is like, yeah, why not? Why can't Nintendo just release a bunch of NES ROMs on your phone at this point? That's interesting. I was about to say no, and I'm like, maybe. Why the hell not?
I think in another universe, as they say, yeah. I just don't think it would happen in this one. But if they were maybe a little more logical and a little less prideful in their own hardware, I think it could happen, yeah.
All right, this from Nate RFB here, a bit of a longer one, so buckle in for a moment. Falcom is one of my all-time favorite RPG developers, and I know Mike has played some of their games, Trails in the Sky. Though they tend to be made on the super cheap Ys 10, which I love, has cutscenes that feel like they'd be most at home on the PS2. There's something really endearing about such fully featured RPG experiences from a company with so few employees delivering basically a new game a year, especially in the RPG market, where Square seems to be terrified of doing turn-based combat again, and Atlas, understandably, takes a long time to deliver their titles.
Yeah.
My question is, I suppose, do you think this is sustainable with the current demand on the market, or is something like Square's direction inevitable for more and more RPGs? Also, what other Falcom games, if any, do you have experience with? Besides Ys and Trails, I deeply love the PSP ports of Brandish, and always try to recommend it to anyone interested in a very unique dungeon crawler. Does Falcom do Puyo? Or is that somebody else? That might be.
That's Sega. What?
Yeah, that's right. That's just Sega. Never mind. You're right.
Falcom, yeah, is Ys. There are Tokyo Xanadu. They are.
Oh, Xanadu.
Trails.
Yeah, right. There's Trails. So, I think aside from. And I played a bit of Ys here and there. I beat the one PSP one, whichever one that was, Memories of Calcutta. And I played some of Ys 8. I was enjoying it, but just kind of fell off. I felt bad about Ys 10. I would maybe like to try that, but just kind of a hard year to jump into that one.
It's interesting that Nate brings this up because I just watched the GameSec video on Ys 10 yesterday, where Joe did basically, he called it a review, and it is kind of sort of a mini review with the the GameSec humor. And just the whole time I was watching, I was thinking to myself, this looks like a PS2 game upscaled, and I am so okay with that. I'm so happy that there is a company out there who recognizes that there is a market for these small scale games that they put out with a small team for a small budget, modest returns, because that's what we keep asking the big companies to do. So I think if they keep doing it, and we haven't heard any like terrible stories coming out of there, it must be sustainable, at least at that level.
Yeah.
I hear I've heard Audie talk about this on various podcasts before, like when he's on Digital Foundry stuff and whatnot, talking about what he knows about Japanese game development. And John's talked about this too, talking about how when they visit some of those smaller developers, it is nice to see them just sort of make a sustainable living doing this stuff and kind of not necessarily having gigantic ambitions beyond that, just wanting to make games the old-fashioned way, finding the audience that'll pay for it, and they keep chugging along like that. I think that's really cool, and I hope that keeps being successful for Falcom, because I think these companies are not going to do it, like the big ones. I don't think Square Enix is actually going to super scale stuff down outside of like the HD2D
Well,
stuff.
yeah, and first off, when I said I played Yee's game on PSP, I meant Vita. It was Memories of Calcutta on the Vita.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Falcom has stolen Square Enix's lunch, at least in terms of that more double-A thing. Like, remember, Trials of Mana, was it Trials of Mana? What was it called? The new Mana game, Visions of Mana, came out this year.
Yeah.
And it's, I think that got overlooked pretty quickly. And that's the kind of size of game, especially with the Yeez. I think Yeez is pretty similar to that experience. I think Falcom is actually thriving in that a bit more. And they have found a very good niche in terms of being the company that's still doing very traditional sort of turn-based style JRPGs and releasing them on a regular cadence. And they have that dedicated fan base helping out there. Go ahead.
And think about what's the reward was for Visions of Mana. That team got shut down like the day the game came out, right?
That's right. They they kind of knew like this isn't gonna do anything.
Yeah, even when Square takes those risks, I think it's one of those situations where, well, we infamously know how nothing is good enough for Square. And so I think that's part of why you won't see it out of them, which is why it's important for these smaller devs or even indie level stuff to keep going.
Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, "Hey Turbo, my first name isn't Turbo. Sean and Mike." Still the shortest person on this podcast, especially with Sean here. Absolutely.
True, yeah.
What RPG would you like to see in the launch year of the Switch 2? I'm always hoping for a new Golden Sun. Although I wonder how it would look on a home HD console. Gosh, I played Golden Sun 1, was it last year finally, and did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm necessarily like really hankering for more of it. I think I'm fine there. What I would really like to see, it's not Nintendo, but you didn't specify that. I'd love to see Sega make a new traditional Fantasy Star as part of their new initiative to revisit classic franchises.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that maybe in a 2D HD style would be fantastic, or whatever they want to do. I hope it's just not kind of like bland, baddish 3D graphics, but something interesting with that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't have any like dream RPGs. I will just say though that like presumably if the Switch does come out next year, which I don't see why it wouldn't with the way that things are gearing up, I am just really curious to see what Legends ZA looks like.
Right. Yeah, we still don't really know what kind of game that's going to be.
Nope, we know so little about it. We've been trying to like squeeze blood from a stone at this point.
Even with giant Pokemon Company leak or whatever, we didn't really find out what that game is, huh?
Yeah, I waded into some of that just secondhand to see what it was about. And it seems like, we still don't know much about that. They almost found out more about Gen 10 than they did Legends ZA, apparently. I still maintain that if it's based on Kalos, but maybe in the past, maybe they take a Paris Catacombs route to it and it's like a dungeon crawler. I think that'd be interesting.
Jamie H1224 says, I felt nostalgic for a time when nearly every animated film had a game to go with it. Sometimes ones that play completely different depending on the console it was on, like Aladdin. I added the like Aladdin part. Do any games from this time stick out to you? And is there a recent movie that you would have liked an accompanying game to have come out with it? Yeah, I mean, I just said it. Aladdin is a big one, I think, there. I always... Yeah, I'm strong on the Genesis side of that, Genesis versus SNES Aladdin debate, but I love that we have these two very different games for both consoles come out at the same time there. Gosh, it was like that, not even for animated movies, like Jurassic Park is one I think about that too. There's the SNES top-down Jurassic Park game, then there's the side-scrolling one on Genesis. I don't know, is there anything you really think of from that time?
I go maybe a bit of a different approach since, the Super Nintendo was just like slightly before I was playing a lot of games. And so I think of some of the anime that got adaptations left and right, like the PS1. Was it PS1 that? No, I think, it's PS1 that's famous, but I think of the PS2 Ghost in the Shell games.
Right.
I think about like a Full Metal Alchemist got a decent like beat 'em up / action RPG thing on PS2. I'm pretty nostalgic for that kind of stuff. I do think about in terms of recent stuff, what it would be like if, say, recent Marvel movies got their own original games, like what even something as far back as like an end game video game.
It's funny because like those movies started coming out on the tail end of that. There was like a Sega Iron Man game and a Sega Captain America game, which is kind of wild to think about now, based on those movies. And again, that was like tail end of us doing that kind of thing, because then all that stuff moved over to mobile.
Exactly.
I think it would have been. Imagine if we had a Moana game that was just a Wind Waker clone. You could see that happening pretty easily. I think that would have been fun. So Shoji Kodo says, given the recent discourse around the Game Awards Game of the Year noms, let's talk about the year as a whole. Okay. Considering we got a few big launches due, how do you two feel this year has been overall in terms of good games? Anything you think was overhyped, or any sleepers that you think people need to play before the year's over? Any snubs in the TGA noms? We talked about snubs a little bit. For me, it was a pretty good year. There was lots of stuff that I really liked. I wish that Prince of Persia Lost Crown would maybe get a little bit more love. I really like RZ, the Jewel of Fairmore, that game that is a parody of the CDI Zelda games. I can understand why maybe that's not for everybody, but I do think more people should check that one out. And I'm not shocked it didn't get Game Award nominees or anything like that, but maybe that would have been neat.
Yeah, I wish it maybe would have. Yeah, speaking of Audie and John, shouts to the work they did on that. Audie was the director on that one. And I think that team, because it was mainly like the one guy, I'm sorry, I forget his name, like doing most of it, I believe. And then, with cooperation from a bunch of people. And they did a fantastic job with RZ. Definitely don't sleep on that one. I've talked about on Giant Bomb, I talked about Bloodless, which is that Neo Geo Pocket looking passive RPG, like your non-lethal takedowns in that one. That was very cool. I don't know. I feel like we've hit on a lot of stuff already in the first topic, though.
Any
just
game?
A fantastic year for games.
Any game that you thought was overhyped this year? Dragon's Dogma 2 got very good reviews when it first came out, and it seems like already people have kind of forgotten about that. It did not show up much in the Game Awards. So I think it's already has come back down to earth a bit on that one a little bit. I never really super got into it.
I don't want to dwell on it, but I thought Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of the worst video games I've ever played in my life.
Wow.
Okay.
That is
I think
crazy.
It's a poorly made video game, and I can't stand it. So
I saw good. Get the hell out of here. I love Dragon's Dogma 2. It's so fucking
and that's why
good.
I don't like dwelling on it.
Especially when you get to the Dragon's Dogma 2 part of the fucking video game that apparently nobody plays, so that it changes completely the world and stuff. It's really good. I can't. You know what? Let's leave it there.
Someone in chat says Capcom fanboys coming for you, bro. I am the Capcom fanboy. That's the ironic thing.
I'm the problem. Dragon Shanma. Okay, that's funny. Dragon Shanma. No. God. All right. Next up here is from Blanda Bear. Says, after spending 100 hours in Metaphor, what's your favorite character / archetype? I tell you what, it's a very good cast.
Yeah.
In general, right? I do like that. Heismay, I like as a character the most, right?
Standout.
Yeah, he is fun in your party because his whole thing is that his agility is really high. In this game, more so than other RPGs, dodging attacks is very good because the enemy always has multiple attacks per turn, and if you dodge, they lose an attack. And for boss fights, that's incredible. So so giving Heismay an archetype, like his normal thief tree, even something like Gunner. I liked the Gunner tree with Heismay a lot. It just kind of, doing something high agility and seeing Heismay dodge stuff constantly was good. I also like Heismay as a mage just because he has that line where he's like, you think me no mage? I know something of spells. I'm like, oh, that's a good line. Well, I like that line a lot.
Even the ninja can cast spells, and he dropped some lines there. It's pretty good.
That's what's great about the game in general, is that it's very easy to take spells and abilities and plot them on other characters. It's so flexible.
Mm-hmm.
I think Heismay is the standout character for me overall. I will say though that Luis is a great villain. And I love Stroll personally because he's the best one of those that Alice has ever done. Like the best friend character.
Easily the best.
He's like the golden retriever of characters. I like him, but like,
but you want to hit him. Is that what you're saying,
I like
Christian?
him.
What's wrong with golden
No.
retrievers?
Girl, it's like, oh, there's a golden retriever there.
Yes!
It's like default character creation type shit.
You see a golden retriever, you get so excited. And like Sean says, like the best friend character usually fucking sucks in the Atlas games. They're terrible.
Like they're good friends but bad people.
Yeah.
Like,
Bad people, yeah.
Like Ryuji is a bit of a creep. It's Yusuke.
Yusuke is a fucking homophobic piece of shit.
He's
Yeah,
homophobic and a creeper. And then
I will say Junpei at least has depth to his character.
Junpei has depth, but his like jealousy shtick, it is irritating. And I get it's part of his character growth, but it is annoying. And he's an idiot.
He's
too.
annoying. He's an idiot, but he's probably of the Persona people. He's like the lesser.
He's the best design.
Yeah, he plays baseball.
Yeah, I basically decide like the baseball thing that they got going with him.
Yeah. Especially in Arena, yeah.
In Arena, yeah.
I'm and this is like a little bit of a later archetype in the game. The dancer archetype is kind of bizarre to me.
I was gonna say Masked Dancer is so cool.
Masked Dancer,
take on the abilities of other archetypes.
But like,
it's very fun.
It confuses me because we already have a system for getting abilities of other archetypes. It's the archetype system, and the dancer thing. You have to equip a mask in your accessory slot. So you're losing a slot because of that.
But the trade-off is that she gets those abilities without having to use the inheritance slots, which is very interesting.
And then you get that is kind of the most flexible of them flexible archetypes. And I like it because it's like a callback to another game.
Well, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Also, yes, I was thinking so hard in the moment, and chat's right. It is Yosuke who sucks. Yusuke is the artist from Persona 5.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Very easy to mix up.
I like Katarina, although her social link is kind of sad at the end. She's personally, I think it's kind of fucked up what they did to her, but I like her character design and also her archetype. And when you have it maxed, it has a cool effect. You can see it when you made her. She shows up and helps you in the fight. It's pretty good. You can see it from the beginning. All right, so it's not a spoiler. Pretty good.
Tommy.
It's not a spoiler if you can see it on the menu. You don't check the menu for the fucking.
Okay, don't unlock that ability till. Anyways, Tommy Petzel says, "Where was this?"
What do you mean?
Never mind. Tommy Petzel says, "Where was this discourse back in 2016 when The Witcher 3 DLC beat Dark Souls 3 for best RPG? Huh? I don't remember that. People did like that Witcher 3 DLC a lot. Maybe it's a little much for it to beat Dark Souls 3. I don't know. Again, I'm not as hardlined against this as other things, whatever. But I probably wouldn't personally vote for a DLC over a full game.
Yeah, I still would have said the same thing. And you bring up CD Projekt. I'm someone who really liked Phantom Liberty last year. But I do, and I even include it in my top 10 list from last year, but I still consider it, to be sort of a smaller, I basically just consider the only thing that would be eligible to be an MMO expansion. And even then, maybe just Final Fantasy 14 because of how separate that tends to be.
Dr. Ryan says, "Dear Deacon St. Sean and Mike Boozer Minotti." Great, I'm Boozer. I'm the boozman. Help me out here. What are some good Christmas/holiday games to play for the season? Halloween is easy, but Christmas is hard. You got any ideas? There's not a lot. I do like playing Christmas Nights for the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, let's go.
So you got to be a little creative to play that one. So that one is always funny as a Christmas branded game. And then Miles Morales. Miles Morales.
Oh, sure.
Takes place during Christmas. So I like it just because you get to swing around New York City during Christmas time, which I love New York at Christmas. I love the decorate. Ever since Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, I've liked that vibe and aesthetic a lot. So I think Miles Morales is a good one.
A similar vibe, but maybe a little more die-hardy is Bayonetta 2. Just because it also takes place during Christmas. They just only talk about in the beginning and the end.
Chat says Saints Row 4 has the Saints Save Christmas DLC.
Sure.
Zell brought up that Night Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge game for PS2. I was hoping to find a physical copy of that this year. It didn't happen yet. So hopefully.
Parasite Eve. Good call.
Dead Rising 4.
Parasite Eve has been on the top of my I'm trying to get a physical copy of. I found a pretty decent one, but doesn't include the demo disc that was in there. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get this game, I'm gonna.
I think you're gonna like that game. Not gonna lie to you.
You think I'm not gonna like that game?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna like it. It's a weird game and it's kind of sad, and you don't like sad games.
So look, I like sad games,
And it's mean.
Sad games can be fine. The whole Demon Slayer thing threw me off because the vibe I was getting was not that. And then when I read the very weird, sad thing, I don't know why.
Which is funny because most of Demon Slayer is that and not the super colorful, funny stuff.
Yeah, it turns out that maybe that Mario Party clone gave me a bad representation of what Demon Slayer is.
Yeah, it is that sometimes, but most of the time it's the other stuff.
Yeah. Screaming Madness says, "Hey Mike, more games should have golf carts Minotti and Turbcan St. Sean. I know Game of the Year talk is rampant right now, but I want to know what's y'all's favorite game you played this year that's not a 2024 release." I asked because frankly I played way more retro / non 2024 games myself. I have been playing those Dark Souls, right? So I played Dark Souls 1 and 2. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 is good. I get some of the complaints against it and probably agree with them. Dark Souls 1 was just pretty fantastic, though. I really enjoyed Dark Souls 1. Turns out the hype was justified on that one.
I'm trying to think, because there's been like retro games that I've revisited just because I was in the mood for. Like a lot of Pokemon TCG stuff had me in the mood to do a TCG Game Boy run. But I can't think of a single game that's sort of in the in-between from like, a couple years ago or something that I played this year. I think it's only been 2024 stuff or really old stuff. So yeah, sorry, I don't think I have one for this.
Sveppy says Blast Core is not good. Send tweet. Wow. Jokes aside, how are we feeling about a potential Switch 2 launch lineup? Will there be anything exclusive or will it just be cross-gen stuff? Feels like these days you really need to give people a reason to actually buy the new thing. Will there be anything? Yeah, there'll be the new Mario game. There will be the new 3D Mario game will be a launch game, and that alone will almost be enough.
Right, because they won't have Zelda, because we just got Tears of the Kingdom last year, and the 2D Zelda, presumably, that, would come out.
Now, they could do Wind Waker. It could be Wind Waker HD, finally, and Twilight Princess
it could
HD.
Be. Yeah, and maybe other, like, HD ports, like, may they finally get around to Metroid Prime 2, perhaps. But yeah, it's probably going to be 3D Mario. This is going to be maybe their most interesting launch ever, because this is the first time Nintendo has had a traditional next-gen upgrade that is also fully backwards compatible with the old stuff. Like, I guess Wii U is kind of in that category, but Wii U is also so weird of a console that it feels like its own thing. This is just going to be a more powerful version of what they already have and also plays Switch stuff. So I'm curious to see how Nintendo handles it.
I mean, there's, they have some studios that could always be released. There's going to be something else. I don't know if it's going to be as wacky as an ARMS 2 or a Snipper Clips. I'm not sure if Mario Kart 9 or 10, whatever they call it, is right at launch, or if that's more of like the launch window or like the December game, unless the Switch U comes out in December, which is a distinct possibility, right? Luigi's Mansion 4, gosh, maybe, but maybe something like, hey, here's the new F-Zero, right? F-Zero has been launch games for consoles before back in the day. It's been a little bit. You can do that. They'll pull something interesting out, but Mario is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for that launch lineup for sure. Mario and ports. Next up is from Hammond of Texas. Says, this question is for Mike. Are you aware of this relatively new ISP, in the Pittsburgh, Northern Ohio region called OmniFiber? They are rolling out high-speed fiber internet with speeds up to 2 gigabytes per second at very low prices. I see on their service area map that Poland, Ohio is a future market. I have fiber at my home in Columbus, Ohio, but I now have family members in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, who have faster and cheaper internet access than I do. Thanks. Yeah, fiber internet has been getting installed around here in small doses. Like, they're preparing for it. So I am going to have a fiber internet feature of some kind. I know that along with this, like, the local ISP is doing their own fiber thing, and they're kind of desperately trying to tell people, like, ours is going to be just as good. I don't know. So there will be choices and options in the future, at least. My internet's been pretty fine lately. There was I think a couple years ago struggling, but I've been pretty stable for a little bit here.
Yeah, true.
So it's not a huge issue, but I will be happy to have fiber.
Today I almost got fiber, but so the thing was, I saw a guy installing fiber on my blog, and I'm like, "Are you the fiber guy?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he gives me this pamphlet, and he's like, do you want fiber? Call this number. So I call that number, and I get set up, and the person tells me, "Yeah, this is a good fiber, but it's not good for video games. It's not good for gaming." I'm like, "Oh, I don't like that."
Right. That's weird.
You know what? I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna pass for now. And they're like, "Well, if it works on games, but it's not good for gaming." And I was like, "What?
Why?
What does that even mean?"
It's not the gamer pipes. Doesn't have the gamer tubes. What?
Yeah, I don't understand what they meant with that. And then I looked it up, and it has really bad reviews in the internet. So I got lucky that she said that, and I was weird about it. So I was weirded out about it. Yeah, so I almost got the bad fiber today, I guess. But I didn't, so I'm still waiting for the big company to install fiber on my blog, which is crazy because they have fiber internet on the, let's say, the less populated area of my neighborhood, and not in the most populated where it's full of buildings and stuff. So it's a thing.
Caleb Bell says, forget what game you want to win any awards at Giant Bomb Game Mess. What games do you wish to forsake? I feel like Sean might have answers.
Sean, I don't know. I know what you're thinking. Don't say it, though.
I'm actually not gonna say Elden Ring. I'm gonna say Black Myth Wukong.
That's not gonna happen at Giant Bomb or Game Mess.
I know. I'm just saying, like, across the board for any awards. Like for our personal stuff, I'm probably going to rally against Elden Ring if it comes up. But yeah, for any other outlets Game of the Year stuff, I just won't understand Black Myth Wukong. But hey, if they really like it, that's their decision.
Yeah,
I got so bored by that game. It's crazy. I don't get it.
I don't know if there's anything that I would necessarily really want to shut down that I think's a possibility. If other people want to do Erdtree, I'm not going to really stand in the way of that. I don't want it to win Game of the Year, and it wouldn't, but they want to put it on the list somewhere.
I might have to shut down Jeff and Dan when it comes to Zelda. Echoes of Wisdom is not
feeling it.
I don't think it's as great as they make it out to be. I personally don't care for it that much, and I think just what's there isn't. It's solid, but it's not great.
Bro, that's like picking a fight with the dragon from.
I know. I'm also gonna have to have a bigger version of this conversation with them and Astrobot. So I'm not looking for.
Oh no!
Oh my god! You have so many flanks to cover, brother. I know. That's crazy.
Well, my only solace is that I think Tam and Lucy would be with me and preferring the RPGs over Astrobot as well. So we'll see how.
I'm just excited for you both to court me, right? Because I'm on. I like both. I'm the big deciding vote. I like that.
You're kind of a swing vote.
I love the power I have.
State, Mikey.
That's right. I'm like the Ohio of old. It's great. The power I have.
The problem is I'm already thinking about the math of it all, because we're all going to have Astrobot on our list, but they won't have Metaphor, and that doesn't bode well for Metaphor.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. I am, we'll see. But don't forget, for Game of the Year specifically, there's not really a lot of arguing to do, which is probably for the best, because it could get a lot. We have the Eurovision, but there's other categories where we did do that. All right. Leesman says, "Woof woof to my dogs. I'd like to know each of your ideal 3-person RPG party. Anyone from any game you can think of."
Ooh.
Interesting. Probably Heismay because of recent developments. Gosh, Vivi from Final Fantasy IX would be up there too, and then
all the sad motherfuckers.
Yes, I do like their sadness. I can see because Vivi and Heismay would have a good father-son-esque relationship, and that would develop pretty well. And I'm not gonna lie, I need a hot person now. I'm
just Tifa is right there.
No. What'd you say, Christian?
Tifa is right there. I mean,
Tifa,
she's a fighter. She can kind of tank.
Yeah, she is filling in a space that I'm missing. That's right. It seems a little vanilla to say Tifa. I'm not gonna lie. It's I can do better. I don't know. You're probably right. Tifa would make a lot of sense in there. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Tifa. We'll say Tifa for now.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm thinking of like the different classes I would want on an RPG party. I think I actually would just pick Cloud for like the front man, like the swordsman guy. Trying to think of who I would want for like a mage, and I'm thinking Mewtwo because that would be kind of sick because he's a really strong psychic. I'm not sure who I would want to like fill out the party because kind of already got the range there, and it would be corny to say Tifa on alongside Cloud. So one of the Persona protagonists, let's say Joker
Okay.
for versatility.
Oh, there you go.
Michael Riley says, "Hello, bad boys of Game Mess. When the ladies say they want to roleplay in the bedroom, which RPG do you think they mean? Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Vengeance.
Vengeance, yeah, specifically Vengeance. The big emphasis on the Vengeance.
Ease Origins.
There you go. Next one.
Aren't you gonna ask me why, Mike?
No. Why?
Okay. Bump and grind.
It's pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's a good payoff to that one, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah,
I get it.
thank you.
I get it. You got it. Zool34 says, how many games are on your Steam wish list? I used to not have many.
All right, let's pull it up.
Yeah. How many do I have on there these days? That's a good question.
Where the hell do you find wish list?
There's probably some old stuff on there that I don't even really want anymore. At the time, I thought I did, and now I don't need that shit.
Put under store.
Yeah.
Oh God, 60.
60.
Yeah.
Damn.
A lot of indie games are like, hey, please wishlist us. I know it actually does help them in the algorithms.
I have 398.
Christ, Christian. Holy shit.
God, I have 30. I have 27. God damn it, Christian.
They
Oh,
tell me
Lord.
wishlist this and I do it. They should.
You
They tell
sure
me to
do.
do it. It's not my fault.
You sure do.
They had the button right there, and I should
took
click.
them
Oh,
literally.
I wishlist. If it helps you, it helps you, brother. I'm here.
Alright.
Just one click away.
Ali Miracle says they should remake Burning Rangers. Yes, I think.
Yes.
Burning Rangers is just a
Agreed.
good idea for a video game. I want more sci-fi firemen anime games. Felix Fortuna says, in a theoretical game award, Metaphor Performance of the Year award, who's gonna win? It would be Heismay.
It should be Heisman, yeah.
Should be. JD Kemp says, can you tell the Rise of the Golden Idol devs to make a Columba video game? Oh, that would rule. I'd love that.
Why not?
And then, what the heck is this? Beef Hammer says, evening, Sean stupidly thinks Final Fantasy VII is about how corporations will literally destroy the earth for profit, McDowell. And Mike correctly knows Final Fantasy VII is about how people with long hair are evil, Minati. Arf arf, my dogs, unfortunately needing more relationship advice.
Oh, no.
See, my girlfriend just moved in with me now. It seemed all fine and dandy. But then the first night we went to sleep, I did my normal routine of falling asleep to the Katamari Damacy OST. And that caused a major issue, as apparently my body just constantly spins in place while I'm sleeping listening to it, which just sounds like a normal response to me. But it's disrupting her sleep. Any advice to solve this? I think the onus might have to be on her, as I can't sleep without hearing. I don't know how this song goes, do you?
Na 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 Katamari Damacy.
Yeah. Dump her.
Na na na.
Get her out of there.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah. Here's a new
Run
song.
away.
Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, goodbye. There you go.
Good lord.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I hope that helped, Beef.
Yeah, you're welcome, Beef. Okay, why don't we take one more quick break here? We'll come back. We got a couple more super chats and maybe talk about some other things. But yeah, let's start wrapping up here.
Sounds good.
All right. Break.
All right, I can get right back to it.
All right. Let's do it.
All
All right, you ready? The super chat, Sean?
Yep.
All right. All right, we're back, Sean. We have any more super chats?
We do. We have a few of them. First up from Steven Sullivan. If Twilight Princess, I think they may mean Tears of the Kingdom, released a DLC story expansion after the main game, would you think that's eligible for GOTY? It'd be about 20 years later. Oh, man, they do mean
I guess they
Twilight
do
Princess.
mean Twilight Princess. I mean, of course.
I'd call it a fair contender for GOTY, just a thought.
I think it's eligible. I just think we should all think long and hard over whether we want to vote for it. I mean, yeah.
Depends
Absolutely
on how
not.
good it is.
No, it's DLC.
Nah. Again, I do think I think where I'm settling on all this is that Final Fantasy 14 is like an exception that proves the rule type situation. Just broadly speaking, I don't like DLC expansions in general to be considered for that kind of stuff.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, from Postman Dan, real glad Dr. Wiley and Rock put their differences aside to podcast about Nintendo tonight.
There we go. Here we are.
Yeah, we kind of got that going on.
I always thought it was more Dr. Light coded, but here we are.
And they got that mustache.
Yep.
From Arnold Schwarzenegger, what you might give my son-in-law for Christmas, Arnie?
Give him some tupas that he can stomp on.
Yeah,
in real
get
life.
him like
Yeah.
a tupa alarm clock. You
Get
know,
him
like he doesn't
tupa.
need
Oh,
alarmo.
yeah.
Get like a weird like hacked alarmo that's nothing but tupas. He'd like that a lot.
Oh, he'd like that a lot.
Nothing but tupas. Oops,
Get
all
in
tupas.
get him a lot of them because he's gonna like jump on them for real. It's gonna break him.
Daily Beating, thanks for being a Lincoln member for
Thank
9
you,
months.
Daily
Appreciate
Beating.
that. I love that we still have the How Games Make Money tier list for these things.
Right.
They say, Mike, what Disney parks opinion could Jeff come back with post-trip that would hurt you the most personally?
Oh, it would be about not liking things. Like if he does the people mover and it's like, I think it's really stupid. I don't know why you like it. I'd be very, very
I look
upset.
up the people mover. It's just a train, bro.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So you do get it. Yeah.
I like trains. I don't know if it would be
It's a
weird if you
future
hate
train.
a train.
It runs on magnets.
It runs on my like.
So, like the
a
bullet
lot of
train.
trains do that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's cool.
it is not that crazy.
Yeah,
But
magnets are
it's
neat.
cool. It's cool.
It goes
It's
inside
nice.
Space Mountain.
Oh, now you're talking about. Now it's a fucking
Yeah.
rat train.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, there's nothing that he would like that would upset me. I think, yeah, I'm happy if he likes things, but yeah, there's certain things like if for some reason he didn't like that Avatar ride that everybody else likes, and he likes Avatar, and he was somehow like, I don't get it, then I'd be pretty upset. But I think we'll be
Okay.
safe.
Oh, I feel like you're giving him ammo. I feel like he's gonna find this video and she's
Yeah,
gonna
listen,
hit you
listen.
with
Oh,
all
it would
the
hurt, it
weak
would hurt.
points.
Yeah.
And then last one here from El Grug. Since that decaying old man, Jeff Grubb, isn't here, I gotta ask, how is 2025 looking for fighting games? I hope Fatal Fury is looking good. That's like the major release. I don't think I'm...
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think what else is coming out. I
I
hope
mean,
maybe.
Maybe
this
stuff we
is
don't
my
know
heart.
about, because that's
This is
fighting
my
games
heart.
tend to-
Yeah, my heart wishing is another Persona game. It's just,
I
it's
want
just
Persona
my heart.
5 Arena so bad. I have for so
Yeah.
long now.
You think
That
they
cast
could
would be
just
so good.
throw some metaphor characters in there too? That would freaking rule.
That, yeah, like as DLC
yeah, sure.
characters.
Oh, is
maybe?
2XKO having its release next year? Its full release, you think?
Oh,
Uh,
right, yeah.
So
that is.
okay. What
It's
they
planned for
said
2025, yeah.
they still say in 2025, but they push their
Sean
alpha
Rivera
thing.
looked me dead in the eyes and told me 2025.
That game
Evo,
smells
so-
2020 early 2026, brother. If it's not ready for Evo, it's gonna be weird. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Well, it could be later. I don't know. Like, it's pretty complete for a free-to-play game, I feel, for what they're going for. So I guess we'll
Yeah.
see, but probably 2XKO as well. Which is
Yeah,
fun, by
and-
the way. 2XKO Duos is so much fun.
Oh,
had
I
a blast
love
playing
that. Yes,
Yeah.
that game's gonna be so good. I don't know. Everything that's out already, the new seasons, that they're gonna. I like the new season of Street Fighter and the new season for Guilty
Yeah.
Gear looking good. So fighting games are good.
Yeah, new characters.
good.
Next year is when we're gonna get Mai in Street Fighter, and when we're gonna get Lucy from
Lucy.
Cyberpunk in
Yeah.
Guilty Gear, which is
Yeah.
God wild.
Elena, right?
I already
in
have
Street
it
Fighter
pre-order,
also.
so
Elena still, yeah, that's
Yep.
right, that's right.
Yep. And then at some point they'll announce a new season too. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wonder
and
what,
chat points out, yeah, the Hunter x Hunter fighting game. That's a smaller
oh
one.
yeah,
Is also
Nen
coming out.
Impact
Yep.
from the NBC people. So it's gonna be good.
And we got one last one here. Ali Miracle says, "Listen, if I use my Warrior of Light in Final Fantasy 14 Mobile, I'm 80% sold. I got bad news for you, Ali. It seems like that may not be the
That'd be weird.
case.
That'd be weird. Like, gosh, I don't know. I realize it's not the same game, but you kind of hope you can import that in some way. I don't know. I don't
At
know
least
much
the
about-
look of it.
I mean, PUBG Mobile is its entirely separate thing, and it's the same company. And though you missed it during the break. We looked at some of the stuff that's out there, and the way they're talking about it seems like it's its own completely different thing. Which is
Okay.
weird. It's very weird.
Thank you for the super chats. If you want to squeeze one more in, you might have a couple minutes here. I don't know if there's any Nintendo games you want to talk about. I've been playing Dragon Quest which is on Switch,
Yeah.
but I've been playing it on ROG and Steam. I will say, like in chat, I know some people were like, even this game, they're not super happy with the performance of it on Switch, which is a little surprising.
Really?
Yeah, because there's so many HD 2D games on Switch already, right? Or I don't know if it's a performance thing or the look, but there's something there. I haven't seen it myself, but maybe you're better off playing that one on PC.
Okay. Yeah, and I just started that up. Last night, 2 nights ago? Yeah, 2 nights ago. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also going to be playing that on Steam Deck, but yeah, it's also available on Switch. And I think it looks good. I mentioned that I don't love that it's not quite the original vision for HD 2D. Maybe that's like what some people don't love either. That does seem like it's kind of just generic 3D. That looks decent, but then with the pixel art on top of it, which, yeah, I don't love the look, but I don't know.
I think
Hearing people talk about Dragon Quest 3, I'm looking forward to it.
I like the way it looks. I think it's pretty. Pretty.
I love the lighting. I
Yeah.
can get it
That-
up
yeah,
when
that
you're
all-
in dungeons. I love
All
that
the
shit.
HD 2D stuff, like in terms of visual effects, still looks fantastic.
So apparently, Dragon Quest 3 on Switch is 30 FPS, which again for RPGs, that's the one thing I accepted for.
That's
It's a
fine.
little.
How's the pacing though? The real question is like
The frame
when
pacing.
you're moving around the world and the pacing is awful. That
Sure.
kind of kills me.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to check out the Digital Foundry video, see what they say.
Yep.
Then the only other thing, that I've been playing because Metaphor is not on Switch, would be, I guess I did play some of Lego Horizon Adventures, and that is on Switch.
That's
which
on
is so
Switch
weird.
too, baby. That's so weird.
PlayStation's Lego Horizon Adventures. I'm playing on PC and is also available on Switch. We live in a fun but weird time for video games. And I do think that is, like I mentioned yesterday on the Bombcast, it's a bizarre fit. It's a bizarre combination of things that kind of works, but it just feels weird the whole time to hear them go through some of this more serious content of the Horizon games, but like liven it up and like be quippy and tell jokes about it. It works, but it, again, feels awkward. I do think that maybe on Switch it's an even better game to play because the kids might like it a little bit more. You play co-op with like parent and child. I think that might be a fun way to play that game. Like I said, I want to see Jeff play it with the kids, or at least try it out, see if they like it at all. Because it's a simple game, basically just running around in an isometric, pretty linear levels. Aloy shoots her bow. You can like light the arrows on fire to deal extra damage. She has a double jump that also doubles as like some fire. The hot dog guy that you saw from the trailer, he's another power up and just randomly throws up hot dog buns.
Of course.
It's
Jan.
an interest. Yeah, it's Jan. Yeah, hot dog. Glizzy Jan. I will say though, speaking of Switch though, I was listening to DF Direct Weekly today, and they said that the Switch version is very, very good apparently, and runs at 30. Which you would kind of expect, but outside of that, it just it seems like it's custom made for Switch, and they nailed it. So if that game was at all interesting to you, if it sounded interesting to you, and Switch is where you might pick it up because of co-op stuff, maybe seems like it would be a good time.
All right, fantastic. Well, I think we can probably start getting out of here. I'm going to start playing our outro, which, despite my wishes, is still Cruisin' Blast.
Yes!
So good.
Yeah, Sean.
So good.
We got more
Yeah.
Day Sean tomorrow.
We sure do. Every morning this week, we're playing some Days Gone, which has been an interesting experience. Me playing Days Gone with you and Nikki on the call with me. It's made for some interesting streams so far. The game is getting better gameplay-wise, so I'm having a little bit more fun with it. Still don't love the story, but it's been fun hanging out with you guys and just, shooting the shit while
Yeah, it's good just to hang out.
play an okay
Exactly.
game.
We God, what's tomorrow's Wednesday, so
Yes.
there's no Blight Club obviously without Jeff. I don't know if there's Delight Club plans or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Kirby.
That's right.
is
Kirby was
what I
talked about
heard.
once. Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Things might be
I think
happening.
it's and if you're available, Dan wants to do it. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out because I'm not. Yeah, I gotta look at my own schedule. All right, thank you everybody. We'll be back Thursday. Game of Society JJ is going to be joining me.
Come on, cruise it.
I don't know when the music is over, so.